Hey guys, this is Trevor Wiles here. I'm coming at you with another YouTube video. This one is a video on this 1971 Kerosun Omni 105. I have the lights off because, well, I just like it like that. But I picked this heater up for free a couple days ago and actually got it with a lot with those two heaters there, that Radiant 10 and that Omni 85. I didn't get that Omni 15 and it needs some work yet, so that's going to be a video for another time. But what did I do to this heater? What did this thing need? This thing it didn't need anything really. When I got it, the tank had some kerosene in it, some old kerosene. This thing's probably sat for, I believe, almost 20 some years. But the thing is, this thing is in almost immaculate condition besides some old surface rust, maybe the occasional spot, just some normal wear and tear. I believe the wick in this thing was changed at one point in its life, because when I had this thing apart, the tail of the wick was like cut and there's like four like pieces coming out. I would rip it apart and show you, but there's something kind of stopping me from doing that. But I believe the wick in this thing was changed at one point, because the factory wick will not be cut. It'll just be like all one together thing. I'd show you, but again, I don't want to pull anything apart. So I flushed the tank out, put fresh kerosene in it. It lit and fired right up. Works pretty damn good. Uh, right now, I just lit it not too long ago. In fact, I'm gonna adjust this wick down a little bit. This is how you adjust the wick in these Kerosuns. And he's older. This is a convection type heater, by the way. As you can see, it's round. That's a radiant type heater for you, in case you're new to kerosene heaters. Yeah, this thing didn't really need much. When I got it, also this thing was covered in dust and dirt and stuff from being stored. So I just took the time. I wiped it down, cleaned her up, and it's actually a pretty good little heater. I think this would probably, right now, I don't know what temperature this room is. I think it's 75, but this thing could heat a 60. This room could be 69 degrees, and this thing could probably have it up to 75 within probably a half hour, which is quite amazing for a heater like this. As you know, if you don't know, Kerosun is actually one of my favorite brands of heaters. I don't know why or when Toyotomi discontinued that line or the brand or whatever it is, but I think they shouldn't have discontinued it, because these heaters are just amazing, amazing heaters. Um, Plus, they're very efficient little units. My Duquesne in the basement, which is a fuel oil furnace, it has a 0.65 nozzle in it, gallons an hour. That thing could probably, for in 1 hour, could probably go through almost 4, maybe 5 gallons, maybe even more. I don't really know the gallons a minute on oil furnaces too well. I just know how to just tinker on them and shit. But it said that these heaters here, my oil furnace is probably 85% efficient, and kerosene heaters like this one is 99% efficient, because there ain't no chimney, so there ain't no heat escapage, plus minus the occasional vented window, or maybe some air leakage in a normal house of this house's age. This house is over 100 years old. In fact, this house was added on. That kitchen and the other room was added on at one point, and my bedroom and the gaming room, no, my gaming room and the spare bedroom and the bathroom and everything was added on as well back in the 90s. But I'm sitting in the original part of the house, which is probably been built in, I think, the very early 1900s. So I'm in a pretty old house, and being it's pretty old, I'm pretty certain there's cracks everywhere in the fucking walls and shit, which means there's gonna be heat escaping and stuff. But it's no big deal. This house still holds heat pretty good. Yeah, we got some leaking windows, but that's fine. I ain't really worried about that. That's a topic for another time. But yeah, it's not a bad heater. Also, I oiled up the safety in it. This got that old uh, this thing doesn't suck the wick down when the safety trips. This has like a hatch or whatever it is. When it's stripped, it'll snuff out the flame. I think that's a more reliable system because it's cutting out. It's like literally just taking the flame right off the wick, and it's also cutting the oxygen from it, both the primary air and the secondary air. So I think that's a more reliable safety. The safety in this thing actually works pretty well for the age of it. I think if I tip it over, it'd probably trip it, but I'm not going to because I don't really want to go through the bother of lighting this thing again. Even though it's pretty easy, just open that hatch, reset your safety. Um, Right. Reset your safety, open the door, turn your wick all the way up, and a match or a stove lighter should light it, provided your electric igniter doesn't work, which sadly this one doesn't. But I'm pretty certain that's probably because of, I think a wire or something's probably loose because the filament in the igniter is still good. So I think there's probably something wrong with the wiring in it, probably corrosion. Or maybe a wire might be broke somewhere. I don't know. But that'll be a repair for another time. I just I still can't believe this is a in good shape for its age. This thing's almost 52 years old, and it's still pumping heat, and it still works like it came straight from the dealer. And in fact, something special about this is I have something that you want to see real quick. Just bear with me. Yep, it came with its original box. And somewhere on this box is actually a copy of the bill of sale with no information written on it, so you don't need to worry about privacy. But I'm not going to drag this box out just to show you it. That's all. That box there is actually for the Omni 85 that you saw earlier in the video, and it's got its other video coming. But just a little sneak peek about the 85. If you look in the box, yep. By the way, the 85 is dated 1974. So, and it works too. But I think, it even has the original wick in it. So, but it's got a video coming. There's the Radiant 8. No, it's not lit because I ain't in this room. I just wanted to do the Omni 105 for now. As it's got a full tank of kerosene and it's going to be pretty cold this week. So, yes, I know it's almost summertime and we still got freezing temperatures. That's Pennsylvania weather for you guys. It's pissing down rain. Yeah, that's Pennsylvania for you. That's why you don't really want to come here. Just stay down in Florida if you don't want to deal with this. And also, yes, I smell kerosene fumes. Yeah, it's just the downfall of kerosene heaters. They do kind of release a little smell, but if you use them for a while, you'll get used to it eventually. It's just, if you have any breathing problems or something like that, I wouldn't really suggest it, as kerosene heaters can make a little bit of soot. You can put soot and dirt on the ceilings and everything. Then you'd have to wipe it down. So that means will be breathing in particulates. But let's go back to the kerosene heater and I'll explain the rest. This thing's actually working pretty damn good. It was I think 73, and it is now 75 in here. So the temperatures are rising in this room, and these convection heaters, this one here could probably heat this room, the kitchen, and maybe the back house, but I'm not sure about that yet. I will find out maybe later on today. But again, also I came back to this because, well, don't leave kerosene heaters lit unattended, and I kind of left it unattended, but it's in the same house, and I have that carbon monoxide alarm. There's one in the basement, and I also have a smoke alarm. So if this thing were to decide to put me on the 10 o'clock news, I'll at least be able to know that there is a fire or carbon monoxide, and I can prevent myself from being put in the in memoriam section of the newspaper, if you know what I mean. So, but anyway, if you want to prevent these things from making as much particulates and stuff, Use clear K1 kerosene. Don't use dyed red. If it's got a cotton wick, don't burn them dry because that will make a lot of smoke eventually. At least make sure your flame burns right. See how that's burning, how it's all even and everything? Yeah, there's a couple spots, I know. But it's mostly even. That is the best burn that you can get with a kerosene heater. It is burning clean and is burning good. Do not use red kerosene. That's more particulates. Don't use diesel fuel. That's particulates, more of them, and you'll also foul up your wick pretty quick too. Both red kerosene and diesel fuel especially will put a bunch of carbon deposits on your wick, which means you'd have to clean it more and wipe down your ceilings, and plus you'll be breathing all that dirt and stuff you don't want to breathe. But and also, if you run now, I don't have no room to talk about this because I don't have no windows opened up. But if you're in a smaller house, I would at least have one window cracked in the farthest room that you don't want to heat. And yes, you'll have some heat escape, but it'll at least you're beat suffocating from carbon monoxide poisoning and loss of oxygen because these things do eat up oxygen because of that. But yeah, Kerosun Omni 105, dated 1971, not 74. That's the 85. But yeah, this is again, these are nice heaters if you know what you're doing. Oh, I forgot, don't use gasoline in these things, but that's just more common sense. And hell, it even says it plain as day right there. They remember now this is dated 71, and they still had those warning labels on there because, well, before these warning labels are put on here, probably even before the 60s or whatever, because that's a 65 Omni 15 right there, that little one. That one right there, that's a 65 Omni 15. It needs a lot of work, so don't expect a video on it yet. But yeah, I'm pretty certain some knucklehead probably put gas in a couple of these things a couple times, and maybe a few houses probably got lost, and you know maybe a couple families might have got wiped out, but you know mistakes, we learn from our mistakes. That's why I put this stuff on there. And please, for the love of God, go by these instructions again. In a previous video I did go over basic simple rules on these things. I'll put a link in the description if I have to, but please read that video before you even think about lighting this thing off in your house. um, Basic rules are don't leave them unattended lit. Before you go to bed, shut them off. If you're not in the house, shut them off. Use the only fuel that you're supposed to use in this thing, which is K1 clear kerosene. And there's a couple other rules too. At least have your house, at least ventilate your house a little bit if it's a small house. But and if it's a older kerosene heater, an old one, well, also make sure your safeties work as well. If you got safeties, keep any kids and stuff away from them. Don't touch them while they're running. But that's that's an obvious thing because if I put my hand on there right now, I'll probably suffer a third-degree burn, and we don't want that. So, and this thing, and yes, that is a cooktop. You can fry. You can put some foods on there. I wouldn't suggest use anything that use cooking oil because cooking oil is flammable, and if you happen to spill some in there, you will cause a fire. And as you know, grease fires are a little bit of a what to put out because, well, you throw water on it and boom, you got a massive fireball, and well, bye bye house. Or be ready to call the fire department. But if you're gonna cook something with grease or something with these things, I would suggest have a Class ABC fire extinguisher, and you shouldn't, just in case. And if you don't have that, keep a whole bunch of baking soda on tap, and it should put the fire out. But just do the right thing and don't use anything with oil on these things. Also, have a fire extinguisher and, again, proper life safety equipment like smoke alarms and CO detectors, and maybe a fire extinguisher. But I don't have a fire extinguisher. And also read the owner's manual if you get one. These things come with the manual. Like if it's a brand new Dynaglow or a Carol World, read the manual, read everything it tells you, and you should be fine. These things won't kill you. But yeah, that's basically the video. I just wanted to show off this Omni 105 that I got for free. This is a Omni 105H, if you're wondering, and yes, it is dated 1971, but dark in here and I ain't turning the light on to show you the serial number. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Please tell me what you think in the comments. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe.